Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Nate Kap, and welcome to the 10th episode of Outcasting, where I'm sharing bits of science towards freedom. And today I'm going to talk about how to find truth through symbol. And I'm going to talk about a particular symbol. But if you're somebody who is interested in symbolism, or just really trying to understand symbolism a lot better, I think you're going to find a lot of very powerful value in this episode. But if you're somebody who is, doesn't really understand symbolism, or you're skeptical, or maybe you think it's a bunch of BS, well, if you actually stay for the duration, really give your time and attention to what I'm saying, by the end of the show, I think you'll at least walk away with something very interesting to think about. So, what is a symbol? Well, a symbol is likened to a logo, it's likened to a marking or a number or a letter, and it is something very simple. A symbol is simple. And when enough knowledge is brought to a symbol, then this is where we start to reveal the information that is stored in the symbol. So if we look at a symbol as something that is, similar to another symbol, then we can start to see the similarities and start to see what's generally the same between each symbol, and that can help us really gauge what the symbol means in its purest form. So the word symbol is actually derived from the Greek verb, which signifies to compare one thing with another. So, looking at these three circles with dots in the middle, the one in the middle is the pure form, right? And then we turn that into the we bring the knowledge of the bullseye, and then looking to the left we bring the knowledge of the zodiac, and we can see why these circles with these middle points can really say something similar about each other. And that similarity, that common ground, that middle ground, is where we're going to find truth in between them, right? So the main symbol that I'm going to talk about is obviously the circle dot. So the circle dot is also known as the dot within a circle or a point within a circle. And what I'm going to share with you next are just some comparative circles that can help us understand this circle dot more, because this is the pure form that I'm sharing. Now we're going to look at a lot of the other forms that have symbols that have been made from this form. And what I'm talking about is very advanced, and I know it's kind of a jump from what I'm talking about before, but honestly, I'm trying to simplify it, make it as simple as possible, so you see the correlation of trying to find truth through symbol. So if you're familiar with the round table from the King Arthur legend of with the 12 knights at the round table, this is about 12 humans coming together to, in the literal sense, coming together to bring information to the table, to put the information together, to find inconsistencies in the information, to weed out what's not true, to then find what is true. So that's why we have the cup in the middle, the chalice or the grail, because it's about finding the truth. And because the circle is about closing in from what's, the outer edges of truth that are, away from truth, and then closing into the middle to truth. And so, here's another example, just an overhead view of the table. And this is important because the round table is bringing ideas. So if you think about each head of this table is someone who is bringing their religion to the table, right? Well, this is just like all the religions of the world, where we individually take responsibility to look into all the religions and find the inconsistencies in the religions, and then we will find the truth at the end, okay? Because we'll start to find the commonalities and the principles that bind each religion and really find what's good in the religion, and we can take from that without being religious, right? But most people understand the exoteric, the outer part of religion, and they don't understand the esoteric, the inner part of the religion. So it's about comparative religion. We have to be able to compare and contrast to really find the commonalities and the inconsistencies. So then we also can look at the circle dot in comparison to the zodiac, which is about understanding that it's not really, it doesn't go just to astronomy. It goes to astrotheology, which is about understanding the path of the sun and when to plant and when to harvest, and really understanding that each house of the zodiac is so there you have the 12 houses of the zodiac, which is in correspondence with the 12 knights of the round table in the King Arthur legend. So once we understand this science, then we understand that it's about the path of the sun through each house. So looking at the bottom, we have the winter solstice. And the winter solstice, that think of the sun starting at the bottom of this circle, right? And then the sun moving to the left between Pisces and Aries, that's spring equinox. And then moving up to between Gemini and Cancer, this is the summer solstice. This is the highest point, the apex of the summer, right? So, and this is all about understanding the northern part of the hemisphere, above the equator of the Earth. So once we understand this science and understand that it helps us understand, from going from our lowest point, the sun being at the lowest and then going to the highest point in the summer, this is about not only consciousness raising in light, but also understanding when to plant, when to harvest. And there's so much more to that. But the point is to understand the circle dot being the pure, getting to the crux, right? So the sun, the son or sun being in the middle of the crux, the cross, the sun on the cross, right? Because the sun is the focal point. The sun is the light of the world. It's what brings life to the world. And as we follow the path of the sun, we start to understand this circle dot, because it's about getting closer to truth, the point. So anyone who possesses occult or hidden knowledge of the circle dot will discover many important hidden treasures that have the potential to reconnect much of the ancient wisdom that has either been lost or sequestered for hundreds of thousands of years. So the mystery traditions are really what helps us understand this circle dot better, or the hermetic principles. Okay, so once we have brought that type of knowledge to this circle dot, we start to reveal the ancient wisdom. We start to unveil some things that probably are not going to be found anywhere in textbook, because the symbol itself is so simple that we don't have words to describe some of this stuff. So what I've done is I've created a diagram here with 3 columns to help us understand the circle dot better by understanding the dualistic nature of the circle dot. So in the middle is where the circle and the dot, the symbol of the dot and the symbol of the circle, come together. So in the middle, under the circle dot, is electromagnetism. Now, electromagnetism is made by electric and magnetism. So once we understand the magnetism and the electric and how they work together, then we start to understand life better. We understand what life is made of. And then we can also understand the Tao, and the Tao is the yin yang, right? So you have the yin energy of the circle being the feminine energy, and the dot being the masculine energy, the yang, right? So together they make the Tao, the yin yang symbol, and then or energy. Then you have the Taurus. Now the Taurus is very powerful to understand because it's about the whole universe energy, the universal energy that is moving to the center, and this, well, the coming out of the center, however you want to look at it. So the center is the masculine energy, and the whole is the feminine energy, and it's like a donut, right? So that's the shape of the torus. So it's when you look at a human we have fields of energy moving through our chakras, right? And the energy moves out, and that's how we're able to, move about through the world, and be able to feel energies in the world through these, because we're made of poles, right? Just like the Earth is made of a north and south pole. Well, there's a electromagnetic field going around the Earth, right? So that's a correspondence to us. Now, that's a very simplified way of understanding the torus energy, but then we have the cone. Now, the cone is very powerful, and I'm not going to get into the deeper parts of the cone, but it's about understanding that the cone is the circle dot in a two-dimensional form. So if you look at the cone, the whole of the cone, the whole of the cone is the feminine, where you put, like, if you look at an ice cream cone, like a waffle cone, which is my favorite cone. You put the ice cream in, that's the hole, right? And then you have the point of the cone where it goes to. Well, that is a three-dimensional form of the circled dot. Okay. Now, the circle dot is also the universe because it's the circle of the void of all, and then it's the dot, the one, because the universe is the universe. It's the one verse, not the multiverse, the one verse. So it's the one. That is the universe is the one, right? And then the void is you can't have the one without the void, because the void is the nothingness. It's what the invisible realm, right? So then what most people think the circle dot means is the bull's eye. And the bull's eye, I'm not going to get into the deeper parts of the bull's eye, but I want to share, like, for instance, if you are shooting a target, well, if you just, shoot in the circle, if you're looking through a scope and you're just shooting without, like, the point in the middle, then you're shooting aimlessly. Well, the target, if you put the point in there, now you have a target to shoot at. That's what the bullseye is. So the aimless and the dot are the target coming together to create the bullseye. So then you have alchemy. Now, alchemy is probably the most important part of understanding the circle dot. And actually, historically, the circle dot is associated with alchemy. Now, the oldest, as far as I know, but alchemy is about going from darkness to light. It's about going from ignorance to enlightenment. So that's the spiritual essence of alchemy. And if you want to understand the chemistry, now I think it's important to understand the chemistry part of alchemy, which is turning base metals or lead into gold, because it's a physical way of showing something that's spiritual, right? It's a parallel. Now, the circle dot is all. It's all that is, the all, right? Because it's about the all is made of nothingness and it's made of somethingness. And you can't have nothingness without something, right? But really, nothingness really is something. It's just we have to understand what nothingness really is, to understand that it is actually something. So that way we can describe it, right? Because it's about understanding the invisible forces in nature. Now, the circle dot has historically been known as the eye, the all-seeing eye, and the all-seeing eye is created out of the womb by uh, by light. Okay, so light is created from the womb of the universe and creates the eye, the all-seeing, right? Because the eye is the intelligence of the universe that is at all places, at all times, all at once, right? So it's to be able to see, right? And that's something that we can tap into. That's something, that's what our pineal gland is for, to be able to see. Now, the next part is really interesting because you have the sun, the sun, and the son. Phonetically, they're the same, right? But it's important to understand that the trivium process here. You have the sacred masculine being the Father, the well, you have the Holy Trinity, right? You have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So you have the Father being the sacred masculine, the dot, and then you have the sacred feminine being the Holy Ghost, the invisible forces, and then you have the Son that is born out of the womb, which is the light, the son being the child, right? The child of light, because the sun is light, because it's a an active principle. That's why the middle part is the active. It's the the um the the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and the Son being the child, right? So it's about understanding that these are principles, okay? And the circle dot has always been associated for, the last 40,000 years at least, has been associated with the sun. So now both the passive cause of the circle dot and or the circle, and then the dot being the active cause, when they come together they make the universal cause. And this is what we this is what makes life. So the circle dot is the universal cause, and that is very, very important. And I'm kind of running out of time here, but the pencil is so powerful when trying to understand a physical archetype with the circle dot and the three-dimensional circle dot, the cone, right? So it's about a pencil is, when it's unsharpened, it is, there's you can't write with it, correct? You can't actually do much with an unsharpened pencil. So what we do is we refine the pencil. We sharpen the pencil to find the point, because it's about finding the truth. So as we sharpen the pencil, this is akin to sharpening ourselves to get closer to a point. And that's the point. We're trying to get to the point. We're trying to, because the thing is if your pencil is unsharpened, it's dull. And if you're dull, then you're not sharp. You're not clear. You don't have clarity. So it's an alchemical process. When you go from a dullness of the unsharpened pencil to the sharpened pencil, you are going to enlightenment. You're going to clarity. You are going to you're able to draw clearer, right? Because you can't draw with a dull pencil. So you even think about the word symbol. What symbol means is you're drawing out from a symbol that which you have come to search for. You're pulling out heritage from a symbol. You're drawing out from it, just like you're drawing lead out of a pencil, right? Into something, like writing or drawing, or some kind of art, right? So a pencil is a very powerful symbol archetype that can help us understand the circle dot better, because it's about finding clarity, finding the truth. Now, um, I'm not going to go too far into this, and I'm going to go further into this as I move forward through these shows. But I just wanted to show how we can discover truth through the Spire ritual. And the Spire ritual just means spiritual. Spiritual is the Spire ritual. Break it down, you'll see for yourself that it's about the spiritual path. Okay, so the spiritual path isn't a straight line. It's a it's a you know it's in a spiral, right? Because like if you're going up a spiral staircase, you can't really tell what's around the corner. So it's about an unfoldment. And as we get closer to truth, truth unfolds before us if we're moving towards the center. Now, if we're moving away or staying stagnant, then we stay in ignorance, we stay in darkness. So it's about moving in the right direction, which generates freedom. Well, I'm not gonna get into what right and wrong mean on this show, but just understand that if you're moving in the right direction, you're moving towards truth. You're moving towards freedom. You're moving towards clarity. If you're moving away from truth, if you're stagnating, away from truth, going in the opposite direction, then you're going towards slavery. You're going in the wrong direction. You are going aimlessly through life. You don't have a target of truth. You're going aimlessly. You don't have principles. Principles are the target. So that is what the circle dot is in a nutshell. And I know I just packed so much into 20 some minutes now, and I know I'm going over, you know, these are very hard topics to squeeze everything in together to really emphasize what truly needs to be said in such a short amount of time. I mean, making shows like this so short is not really, it's not easy, but I'm just trying to whet your appetite. If you want to learn more about this topic or any other topics, you can go to cubbyhole.com. That's CUBBYWHOLE.com and start podcast one, work your way forward. Or if you want to follow me, or if you want to follow me on Telegram, you can find me at Outcasting with Nate Kap, and I'm sharing these videos and updates during the week. So that's all I have for today, guys. So hopefully you've been inspired and are definitely more enlightened after this episode. And I will see you guys next week or again soon. All right. Thanks.